Hello, welcome to 1 Hour SaaS. My name is Mubashir Iqbal. Everybody calls me Mubs. I am building a SaaS business just 1 hour a day. And this is update for hour number 41 of building podcast ping and uptime monitoring system built for podcasters. So today I was focused on this idea of, rather than doing blog content, rather than writing content, how about we build a little side project for my SaaS that will help drive some eyeballs or drive users to podcast ping. I got the sense that it was going to take me a while to write some good blog posts, and maybe it would be better to hire somebody to write those, but we don't have any revenue yet, so we're not going to be spending money we don't have. So I spent today just kind of mocking up what a potential side project for podcast ping would be, and kind of what it would look like as well. So the idea that I'm going to be pursuing here is so let's talk about the thought process here a little bit. So who is going to be interested in podcast ping? Well, it's somebody who's going to be hosting a podcast, so somebody who's taking their podcasting seriously, maybe has some revenue and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, it's anybody who's actually hosting a podcast. At least that's the hope. And so, who is somebody who's going to be looking for a host? Well, somebody's got a podcast, they're going to be looking for a host. So, how about we build a website that kind of aggregates together reviews of different podcast hosts? So, quick little idea that I had was, well, if we can aggregate reviews of all of the top podcast hosting platforms, people who are looking to host podcasts will potentially find us. And if they find us, when they read the reviews and stuff, we can inject in various places, hey, wouldn't it be nice enough your podcast is actually up and available, and sort of all that kind of stuff. So I kind of whipped this together from just using Tailwind UI and a few other Tailwind components that I found out over the internet. And so this is just something I did in my hour today. I kind of had this idea in mind already. This was an idea that I had when I started PodHunt as well. It didn't quite make sense for PodHunt, but it kind of makes a lot of sense for podcast ping. So the idea is it's going to be podcast hosting.review. And as it says, reviews of all the popular podcast hosting platforms. And the idea is there'll be a few featured podcast hosts. And then we'll just kind of have this list of recent reviews of, from wherever we find them. And that's kind of it for the homepage. It's just going to be a very simple list of things. And then, you'll be able to click in to each of the hosts to find out more information about the host, about how much they cost, about, that kind of stuff. And then you'll be able to actually click into the review as well. And hopefully, like I said, somewhere along the lines here, we'll kind of mention podcast ping and, kind of encourage them to kind of check out podcast ping as well. Once they've found their host. So obviously somewhere along here as well, probably in the footer here, or maybe even up at the top here, we've got some room over here, right over Cortland. I found this picture on Unsplash. So this is a picture of Cortland Allen, the founder of Indie Hackers. ConvertKit, I think, put up a bunch of these pictures onto Unsplash. So I thought that was kind of neat. And so, we'll put a little sign up form in here if somebody wants to someone wants to subscribe so they can read more reviews, or, as we add more reviews, we can send out emails and stuff like that. So obviously anything that we can add to a list, maybe we add them to the podcast ping email list. Because I think I'm going to make this kind of a product of podcast ping. And then that way we can kind of add people to the podcast ping newsletter, which will include any of the reviews that we aggregate here as well. So we'll kind of make a single list that we can then use to kind of drive interest across all of the different things that we're going to do in the podcasting world. That was my day. Today was kind of ironing out this idea, and then starting to think about what this would look like, and kind of how it would function. So I've got a good sense of what are the things that I need? What are the models that we need to build into our system? And so we'll have something for reviews, something for hosts, and then obviously we need to have the number of reviews, what the ratings are, and then these little blurbs and things about the reviews and who wrote the review and where they published their review, sort of that kind of stuff. So I have a good sense of that. So hopefully tomorrow I can whip up a quick, very quick website that actually, I'll put together all the models and things that will allow us to store all this information, and then instead of just having this as a static HTML page, we'll actually pull this content out live from the DB, and then for this I'll probably just power this off of the DB directly. There won't be any interface or anything like that. I'll just go into the DB, add sort of a row for all this information, and we'll kind of let the website kind of figure itself out from there. But that's it. That's about what I got done today. Probably more progress than I would have made writing a few blog posts. So hopefully we can get this kind of working and built and launched so that we can start to drive some more traffic to Podcasting as well. And obviously I still have a few calls with a few folks who are kind of interested to find out more about Podcasting. So I'm trying to keep that kind of happening as well, kind of at the same time. But it's the weekend. I figure it's going to be a little bit harder to kind of reach people over the weekend. And so for working on podcast hosting review over the weekend makes sense. And then in the week I can try and reach out to some more folks as well. But yeah, so hopefully this is going to be interesting, and this is something we can launch a little bit faster than I feel comfortable launching Podcasting itself, because I think that needs more features before we put it up onto Product Hunt and sort of all those other kind of places as well. So that's it for today, and I will talk to you tomorrow. See you.